Hey guys, it's Bro You Whack, and I come to you with the great news that hero bans are officially gone for everybody. Not just people that are not masters or grandmasters. Blizzard is getting rid of hero bans indefinitely. So anybody that isn't a Masters or a Grandmasters player, this isn't really news to you, and this doesn't necessarily affect you because months ago, it was already announced that hero bans weren't going to be applied for anybody that wasn't in the Masters or Grandmasters rank. But Molly, the community manager for Blizzard, just came out yesterday saying whether you're a Bronze or Grandmasters player, you're no longer going to have to deal with hero bans. And the whole reason for hero bans only applying for those two ranks is the whole reason for hero bans in general was so that it could prevent stagnant metas. And while stagnant metas were still available at the lower ranks, it was typically at the higher ranks that you saw in Masters and Grandmasters that you saw it the most frequent, because at that point, when you get to the top of the top, everybody is of the same skill level, where the only advantage that you have over the other player is not necessarily your skill, but rather the hero that brings you the most effective tactic available, which if you guys don't know what meta stands for, that's basically what it is. META, most effective tactic available. Just compare the meta to the stupid metaphor that I'm about to make up. There are two fighters of the same strength about to get in a fight, and there are three weapons available. There are fists, a knife, and a gun. What do you think is going to be the most effective tactic available for a fighter to win the fight? That's right, world peace. We don't need to get in fights, we need to love each other and be sure that we don't try to kill each other. And same thing applies in your Overwatch games. You need to beat the enemy team with love and harmony. This video is getting off to a rocky start. Let me get back on track. The whole point of today's video is to ask the question, were hero pools or hero bans a failed experiment in Overwatch? Because you have to remember, a couple years ago, and shoot, even 3 years ago, I remember making a video talking about a protect and ban system in Overwatch, kind of similar to like how Call of Duty and League of Legends had it back in the day, where you're able to protect a specific item or a specific character and ban a specific item, and so that way your game wouldn't be the same every single game. Now, obviously, when I made that video, it's not like it was a revolutionary idea, but it wouldn't be until a couple years later when GOATs started to become a stagnant meta that everybody hated, unless you were a main of the 6 or 7 heroes that were part of the GOATs meta, that the ban system or hero pools started to be brought into question. It's like, okay, would this be possible in Overwatch? And at the time, in the middle of 2019, whether a hero ban system would have worked or not, players wanted that. I know that's kind of hard to believe because nowadays it's the complete opposite. More players hate hero ban systems than they do love it, but at the time they hated the meta so much that they wanted change. And guess what? Blizzard brought change. But here's what players didn't realize is that yes, hero bans would stop a meta. Yes, it would stop GOATs. Maybe Roll Q also could have helped stop GOATs, but either way, the heroes that you hated going against, whether it was a Brigitte, whether it was a Mei, whether it was a Symmetra, really hated heroes you wouldn't have to deal with. But you also have to remember that Blizzard is trying to make this a fair system, and they wouldn't just ban the annoying heroes that you find annoying. No, they want everybody to have a fair shot of getting banned, and that's what players didn't like. And in execution, they hated it. But on paper, they saw an opportunity for metas that they hated and heroes that they hated to be banned, so they signed away on the agreement, not realizing what they just agreed to, which is an opportunity for their main to get banned. And it's not like I'm getting necessarily mad at those players for wanting hero bans and then hating hero bans, because that's the point of the experiment. You experiment with what you don't know, you find out if you like it or don't like it, and then you say, okay, I do like it or I don't like it. I mean, just take your sexuality in college for an example. And if you're not in college, trust me, you're toyed with your sexuality a couple times. I never got that opportunity because, well, guys and girls didn't like me, so there's that. And it was that opportunity that players found so sexy, but it was that fairness that Blizzard also brought that players, ironically, didn't really like. They really just wanted specific heroes to be banned, like the Meis, like the Brigittes, like the Symmetras, but that's just not how Blizzard rolls. And they did try to fix it. Like, at first it was random. It was completely random. They were banning Mei, they were banning Moira, they were banning Mercy, they were banning meta and unmeta heroes, and I think it was the banning of unmeta heroes that even players that liked the ban system didn't necessarily understand, because it's like, okay, what's the point of hero bans if you're gonna be not banning the right heroes? So then they changed it to where the highest played heroes that are played in high level games were gonna get banned, and it just, it was so confusing on how they were trying to do it that if you didn't look into it, it's just like, okay, so the top percentage is going to be the most likely ban, but even if you're above like a 10%, you can still get banned. But then there's the Overwatch League, and it was very confusing. And while it was admittedly confusing and even at times counterintuitive, because I remember there was a time where 4 hit scans were banned, which indefinitely brought a meta where you would play Pharah and Ashe, because Ashe was really the only hit scan that was available to counter the Pharah. It just got to the point where it's like, okay, the whole idea of hero bans at the beginning were to ban the heroes that are forming a popular meta, whether it was a unit meta or it was just a very popular hero, but we're not seeing a lot of those heroes being played at their lower tier ranks. That be it like Mercy, that be it like Genji, or even Hammond. You know, those heroes, while they're not the meta heroes, they're still popular heroes, and those heroes are getting banned. That's pissing off a lot of the lower tier players, and also pissing off a lot of the higher tier players because they're not banning the right heroes. But again, they're trying to go with the fairness, so they just said, all right, F it. No more hero pools for lower tier players up until you're in the Masters and Grandmasters rank, because that was the whole goal of hero pools and hero bans to begin with, was to stop a meta, and you lower tier players are not even playing the meta to begin with, so why are we gonna make you angry? And lower tier players said, thank you. Okay, yeah, thanks for doing that. And then a couple of weeks went by, and Blizzard said the same thing to Masters and Grandmasters players, like, no, we're not doing it anymore, we're only gonna have it in the Overwatch League, which I genuinely thought it was gonna work in the Masters and Grandmasters rank, because, again, the whole point of hero pools was to ban a meta, and that's when you see the metas the most frequently. But I might be wrong here. Again, I don't have the data, but I could be completely wrong here. And that's what I was originally fearful of, was not being wrong. Because just using basic logic, before hero pools, you saw a meta. You saw double shield. You saw Sigma, Orisa, Mei, Reaper, Moira, and Lucio. Sometimes you can substitute the Lucio for a Zen, or the Reaper for a Hanzo or a Doofus, but you saw like 8 or 9 heroes used the most out of 32, and that was the whole point of hero pools. And once again, you saw that prevalently at the higher tier ranks, but now that we're taking it away, what is stopping from stagnant metas forming at the top tier level games? The key here, and the reason why hero bans is not a failed experiment, and in fact a successful experiment, is the fact that it's only available in Overwatch League games. I might be a conspiracy theorist here, I might be putting on my tinfoil hat, but just stick with me. You gotta think, the reason why hero bans even got formed into idea was the inspiration of GOATs, and also Double Shield, but those two stagnant metas were predecessors to hero bans being an idea in general. But where do you think those stagnant metas are first forming? At the lower tier ranks? It's formed at the highest echelon of play, at the Overwatch League tier of players. The GOATs meta was made into fruition from a competitive Overwatch team named GOATs, which I soon found out is the team that actually inspired the name, but it wouldn't be until the team Runaways, which soon would be the Vancouver Titans, that would popularize the meta for everybody, not just in the Overwatch League, but everybody from Grandmasters to Bronze. And why did it become so popular? Because everybody saw it work against the top level tier talents of Overwatch League players. And if Overwatch League players don't have access to form a stagnant meta because of hero bans being made week after week, there is no way that players at the lower tier play or even online tier play are gonna be able to implement those same metas in their competitive game. The only way that I can see a meta forming is if those same Overwatch League players, or just high-level Grandmaster players that aren't on a team, if they form a 3, 4, 5, 6 man unit of a meta in the online competitive rosters. But at least in terms of those Overwatch League players, they're not going to want to play the meta. A lot of times when I see Overwatch League players playing competitive, they're playing whatever the heck that they want. There are some that play specific heroes that are really, really good and really, really meta, but I'm seeing Muma play Hammond most of the time. Like, really? And because of that, since we don't have easy access of the highest echelon of players playing what is supposed to be the best heroes to be played as a unit because of consistent hero bans, then us as players watching are not going to try to do that same thing on the online competitive ladder. But hey, that's just a theory. An Overwatch theory that I hope I'm not wrong on. Because to play devil's advocate, there really isn't stopping anyone like Dante from playing Echo, and then Apply from playing Mei, and Space playing Zarya, and then Muma switching off of Hammond playing Reinhardt, and then whoever plays Moira and Mercy in the Overwatch League, and then some people latch on that idea and tell the other players in their game, hey, play this hero because I saw Overwatch League talent on Twitch play these specific heroes, and then it just slowly seeps in rather than just fastly sleeps in because of the Overwatch League popularizing a specific stagnant meta, which again, I hope I'm wrong on. I hope stagnant metas doesn't form once they take away hero pools, because that was the whole point of hero pools to begin with. But when it comes to banning specific OP heroes that are just OP by themselves, like for an example, Mei, what do they have been doing for the past couple months? Nerfing her. They can't nerf a unit of a meta, but they can nerf a specific hero that's too OP, and that's just what they've done, and I'm sure that's what Blizzard figured out. It's like, hey, why are we trying to prevent a stagnant meta when the Overwatch League players are the only ones that can really form it, when we can stop it at that level and then just nerf really powerful heroes at all levels? And I think hero bans was a system that had to go through growing pains to finally succeed. And if it doesn't succeed at the Overwatch League levels, then that's a whole different conversation, but I can't speak on behalf of them. But right now, it's gone for everybody, and it looks like it's not going to be coming back anytime soon, but we'll just have to see. So let me know what you think about hero bans. Did you like them? Did you hate them? Good riddance or not? Let me know. I love you guys, and bye.